Hey guys, welcome back to Armwrestling. So it's been, I think, approaching a month since East versus West. I've diagnosed a few of my weaknesses. Um, the first one being I felt like I got pumped round 3, and I usually don't feel like I ever get pumped. I've done some research, and I believe the reason why is because of creatine. So for those who don't know, I started taking creatine about a month before the event. It takes about 2 weeks for creatine to metabolize. So typically in my training, I'll go 2 weeks. My last hard practice is 2 weeks out, then have a really easy blood flow practice a week and a half out. So by the time the creatine metabolizes, I don't have really any time to feel what the effects are on the table for creatine before I actually basically stop arm wrestling on the table. So then by the time I got to the event, and then I got so pumped at round 3 that it took quite literally like almost an hour for my arm to stop being pumped, right around an hour for my arm to stop being pumped after I was done pulling. And that never happens. Typically, I pull, I come back, and I'm actually stronger than I was the first round or the second round or the third round. Like, I have a, because of my training, I have a really good threshold, lactate threshold, and I could absolutely tell that the difference from taking creatine to not taking creatine screwed my endurance. So I will never be taking creatine ever again. I've got like 6 gallons of creatine in my drawer or in my cabinet that I will be giving away for that reason. Screw creatine, never again. The next of my weaknesses that I have diagnosed is my pronation. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of the UCL injury or what, but about 3 weeks leading up to the event, I noticed it took a really long time for my chop to get warmed up. Once it was warmed up, it felt strong, but it would take about 30 minutes for my chop to be warmed up before I could really start pronating through this part of my wrist. This part pronation felt great, but this part felt absolutely horrible. So after the injury, I noticed that anyone can cut me in if they just grab here and cup with the pinky. And so I've been really focusing on that, which is weird because my left feels extremely good if somebody tries to cup low. It feels better if somebody tries to cup low. But the right, for whatever reason, feels absolutely horrendous there. So I don't know if it's the injury that's been causing that, or if that was or if it's something else that has caused that weakness there. But I am working hard there, and I'll show you guys what I've been doing to kind of work all forms of pronation rather than just one or the other to try to make sure that in the future I don't have any weakness. The next thing was I felt like I got pumped here, like my overpronation got pumped really easy. So then like I was okay here, but then I mean, if somebody can get this much cup, usually they can get the rest of the cup. So that's not really a good place to be strong at, in my opinion. The next weakness comes from being tight because I was able to hold Joseph in kind of this area, but when somebody's able to get fully carved in on you and you're holding on just a bicep, there's only so much you can do to try to escape that. So I'm really going to try to focus on being strong here rather than in this area, in this training block. And I'll show you guys what I plan to do, what I've been doing for that. My left arm seems to really enjoy pulling tight. The right arm, because of the elbow, is not fully healed yet. Anytime I try to like pull real tight, it does flare up the elbow. So I've just been trying to focus on staying tight here rather than inside the shoulder. Obviously, once the elbow heals, I'll be able to incorporate this with it. But until then, I just have to focus on getting tight and just this aspect of it and not all aspects of the movement. So we'll go ahead and hop straight into it. And I'll show you guys the first exercise that I've been doing to kind of help with getting tight. So I've got like 70 pounds here. Typically, I really like full range of motion preacher curls, but obviously I've decided that I have a weakness in this aspect. So what I've been doing is instead of starting here and then curling all the way from there, I'll start here and curl to there and then lean back forward, disengage, completely disengage, come back to this position, curl back up and lean over, curl back up and lean over. That way I really get the engagement of staying tight. Not only that, but this motion really makes your riser stronger. Like I've noticed my riser feels a lot better on the table since I've been doing these. Just in that little range of motion. Disengage. And so I've been doing a lot of those. I really feel like it's helped me get stronger in this position, especially my left, since it can utilize the shoulder integrity as well. Now I'll show you guys kind of my pronation stuff that I've been using to try to improve my pronation. All right, so I've got a nice light 30 pounds here. So the main one to improve my right hand is going to be, you drop it over the thumb and you wrap it around this portion of the wrist. And what this does is this helps you really like chop into it, almost like you're low handing. And that's where I feel like the right has really been suffering for whatever reason lately. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's because of the UCL injury, because I did notice like the weakness in my pinky, which is directly connected to the UCL, a couple weeks leading up to that, but I didn't think nothing of it. But that should have been my precursor to, oh, something's probably about to get hurt, and it did. And now I can really tell, like, when I practice and I go to chop, my chop here used to be one of my strongest aspects, and now it feels like a baby girl. Like, I went from being able to like chop and people say, ow, that hurts, to people not even be able to feel it when I chop. And then when I chop with my left, it's like, okay, yeah, there's some real pressure there. But so what I've been doing is I'll wrap it like this, stand up, and I'll really focus on keeping tight. And then I'll just work this small range of motion in the wrist. So this is actually as far as I can overpronate. I mean, that's as far as my wrist goes, especially if I get tight. And I'll just work this little range of motion here. Sometimes I'll cup with it. Sometimes I'll stay flat. Then the other pronations that I've been training is just the basic over the thumb, like everybody does. Still get tight. Just that little bit of range of motion, because I've always, leading up to this, I trained full range of motion like this, and great. But I only got strong to here. I didn't get strong to that over pronation area. And then the last pronation area is between here. So I'll just drop it over the thumb, like so, and then I'll wrap it with these two strands right between the thumb and the index. Kind of like Devin's abbreviated rise. It's just pronation. That's all it is. It's just pronation more through the hand rather than on the wrist. Stand up, keep tight, a little range of motion, just from neutral to as far pronated as I can get. And it gets super pumped super fast. Now the left, I would say the left is strongest here and probably the weakest here, just over the thumb, where the right feels the strongest here and the weakest here right now. So I'm not sure what that is because I train them the same. I really think it has to do with the injury. Whatever was tweaked in the UCL before has definitely caused weakness somewhere, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Just typically, if I can get into somebody's pinky, I really feel comfortable. But obviously with a shorter arm, it's hard to get to somebody's pinky, so I always have to battle the riser. But if I can find a pinky, then it's usually great. But for whatever reason, this is really screwed this whole chain and being able to chop in that motion. The next exercise is on the pull-up bar. I've really been enjoying these. Feels kind of like, in a way, cheating, but not. So what I've been doing, just 3 reps. So you'll go 1, then 1, 2, 3, down. That's 1 rep. 1, 1, 2, 3, down. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate this for you guys. So usually I have about 110 pounds. So I'll go 1, 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 1, 2, 3, down. And it's really been helpful with my lock. I've really been enjoying those. I've been doing the same thing on dips. So down, 1, 2, 3, up. And it feels really good. It really helps contract the chest. Because obviously the hardest part of a dip is down here. So it just really gets everything down there, and the stabilizer is strong to be able to hold the weight in that lower position. I've also really been trying to focus on pulling tight in practice. Typically, some of the practices I go to, I feel like I can get away with like pulling open, And I think that's probably caused a lot of my being strong in this position rather than here. So lately what I've been doing is just, even if I'm winning, trying to fall with it, just staying as tight as possible instead of kind of doing like this, you know. So the focus has just been trying to be real tight. And if I'm not tight, then trying to be actively curling or actively dynamically pulling towards that tight position rather than just, okay, here's a static lock, I'm gonna try to hold the static lock. The focus is trying to force the tightness as hard as possible. The right feels really awkward in that position, like it feels like I'm a newbie again. The left, I think the left is really gonna enjoy pulling tight. It's been feeling really good lately, so that's always exciting. I just wish all the power that came from my right that went to the left would go back to my right, because I don't really care about the left so much. But I mean, I can't ever complain with improvement, because my left really does feel like it's improved a solid 10 or 20% since the injury happened. I call it the compensation effect, so she said. But I've had injuries before on my right, and what'll happen is my right will lose a bunch of strength, then the left will come and it'll actually gain 10, 20, up to 30% strength for a temporary amount of time. Once the injury starts healing on my right, the left will start backing off. One of the most prominent examples of this was I was doing static holds on one-arm pull-ups at one point. So I'd hold here, about there on my one-arm pull-up statics, and I got up to 70 pounds on the right, and then it was like 40 or 50 pounds on the left. I hurt my right lat, kind of like in this area. For the next 2 weeks, my left jumped all the way up to 80 pounds, which was just astonishing because it beat my right. And then as soon as my right healed, it dropped back down to 50. And then it took me another month or two to get my left back up to 70 pounds. And it never hit the 80 pounds again. So it's just so, like I said, I call it the compensation effect. And I don't know why the body does that. But for me, I've noticed it every single time one arm gets hurt, the other arm will make huge improvements. I've even joked like, man, I just want my right to improve so much, I'm gonna start breaking fingers on my left hand just so the right gets better. But I really do believe it's a real thing. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but if y'all have, you should definitely comment below your experience with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're gonna try to start getting more videos out there. Comment what you guys would like to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.